Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Tech Talk Insights. So I'm Gokul, and today we are we got something exciting lined up. So we are diving into the world of Copilot adoption. So joining me are two amazing guests, Ram and Priya, who have been navigating this journey themselves. So let's start this, and over to you, Ram.
Thanks, Kukul. Thanks again for this amazing podcast session. I think it'll be always good to have and share our own experiences and insights on how we use Copilot and how each of the organizations have adopted to the rapidly evolving technology. Whenever I think of Copilot adoption or people talking about it, right, like I always think about organizations should address some common questions before they moving ahead with the deployment, like who do I give the Copilot licenses first, and where do I start, like where can the organizations get the most productivity gains, and how to measure it, right? That's pretty much key. And how do I get my employees up and running very quickly, because they cannot be, I mean, waiting for someone to give the push, rather they have to be ready to get the upskilling done immediately. And when will I start seeing the business results, right? Because that's a key question coming up from most of the organizations. Okay, I'm ready to invest in AI, but how do I measure it, or how do I see the business results and the outcomes? So I think that's very much summarizes where everyone should look into answering these questions before we proceed with the deployment or the adoption. And from my perspective and the experiences, right, I could see there are three major phases that I would like to see someone think about. Is like the leadership sponsor, like that's pretty much key, because everyone has to get that alignment from the leadership to say, okay, this is where the investment is going in for the AI, and this is my approach. And do we have, I mean, their motive to go ahead in terms of the deployment and upskilling, as I talked about, because that's pretty much important too. And have the platform ready for the deployment, and that's something which we touched upon in our previous episode of how we can have some governance and controls before we deploy a Copilot. And just to elaborate further, right, I think the seat assignments of Copilot is key, because I mean, we need to focus on specific use cases or specific departments and assign it to that particular team. Like for example, we initially touched with the marketing and sales team, because they had a pretty good use cases that we can implement with Copilot. And then we had Copilot licenses assigned to that whole organization within marketing and sales, so that they can see the benefit and the ROI out of Copilot. And most of the organizations are also doing this one now, like having an AI council, where they have like a senior executive sponsor, representatives from IT team, change management, security team, like they form a team together. And it's good to see some organizations have also started to having a data and AI team specifically, right, where they sit in like a top of this whole wing to understand what AI is and how we can leverage it, and what kind of controls and governance we can put together. So it's always good to have like a combined team from different perspectives and talk about it before that a deployment can go ahead. uh, Building some new work habits is important as well, like providing proper support, training, and clear communication to colleagues on what exactly you're trying to achieve, right? Because you cannot just give a Copilot license and ask users to try it on their own. So you have to have some clear messaging and communication to them, telling them this is what it needs to be done. And for that to happen, you should have a good training module configured. So I would say, like from my experience, we have done like three types of trainings, like a foundation skill, where you give a basic understanding of what Copilot is. And then department wise skills, like a HR or a marketing team, as a touch base, like what exactly they would need for them to develop, I mean, a use case within Copilot. And the last one is the advanced skills, right? Like I think we have touched base in our previous sessions too, where you can build a Copilot agent, or you can build a Copilot agent using a studio. But in order to do that, again, you have to have some advanced training skills for the organization. uh, Priya or Gokul, right, like from your experiences, can you share like how you have adopted Copilot in your organization?
Yes, sure, Ram. So, yeah, whatever points you covered, right, those are the critical points when we think of adoption of a co-pilot, right? So, my organization also, like whenever we have a client and we are planning for a co-pilot adoption, be it a new user or existing M365 user, we always talk about the readiness. So, how ready are you to adapt for the co-pilot, right? So, because readiness is something, if a technology is changing from one technology to other, people are always skeptical on moving to that technology. So the readiness, okay, and also the licensing. So when we speak about Copilot licensing, they need to have a clarity on what are the license options available and what are the things that these Copilot thing can give for us. So for that, a proper training is required. So as you told, a foundation level or the beginner or the intermediate level, so all these. And also we also suggest for the pilot program. So let's say this co-pilot use case scenario is not same for all the departments. So if you see from Microsoft end as well, uh, there are different teams. So for HR, for sales, everything is it's different, right? So we need to even before deploying the co-pilot, we need to gather information from each department, and we have to create a cheat sheet, like what are the options that can be automated via Copilot, or how Copilot can address these challenges. So we need to create that first, and also we need to have workshops on what Copilot can do and have training videos. Always, I would say, start with a smaller group, like a pilot program, and then you do an organization wide rollout, right? And we need to, as you told, there are a lot of tools, right, to analyze it. So let's say we need to analyze the company's performance or that particular team's performance before Copilot and after Copilot. So how this can be done? This can be done via, there are a lot of tools that Microsoft recommends. Few things are like Viva Insight. So in Viva Insight, it gives us the insight on, let's say, is there a time saving done? Okay, let's say if anyone is drafting the email manually compared to using Copilot, so what is the time difference? You need to calculate for over a period of 1 month. So only then that time difference will show up for us. And also, you can integrate the Viva Insight data to Power BI, which will give us a graphical view on the utilization and the cost saving mainly. So everyone invest on something at the end to do a cost saving. So how the reports can be automated. What are the main thing is we need to identify the business use cases. So always we need to have a clear set of goals. So in order to fix the goals, I would say when I'm taking a pilot batch, I tell them, okay, you are the co-pilot pilot batch, and 80% of your job you need to utilize via co-pilot. Only then we can see the difference in a matter of 1 month in both cost wise and in time save. I mean time saving. The other last thing is survey and feedback. More than anything, I believe in this because those are the actual hit to the end user. So if you need a real time feedback on how it works or how engaging it is or how useful it is, then you need to give frequent surveys and get the feedback from the end users. And also you spoke about the champions, like for each team we need to have two or three persons identified as champions, and they need to adopt this co-pilot initially at the early stage, and they can train their team members. Yeah. So as you told, we need to plan for it. So it is not like I give you the license, start using it. No, that will not work. Both technically and also the people should have knowledge on this. So how to adapt. I mean, they should be ready to adapt for this. These are my point of view. Gokul, do you have anything from your end?
Yeah, so you both pretty much covered the high level overview on what all should be part of an adoption, right? So when Microsoft launched Copilot, everywhere people were so crazy about the word Copilot, and the organization really wants to try it. What difference it is going to make? But organization should have this in the mind, that in our mind, that uh, we can adopt it, but we cannot see the value immediately, right? So we have to have a strategy in our planning. So the strategy should be segregated, I mean differentiated with into three different types: short term, mid term, and long term. Because when you adopt Copilot in a short term, you will be able to only see the efficiency of the product, and you can see how it can handle repetitive tasks and provide insights, and how it is going to reduce people spending time on their day-to-day task. But only when you cross that short term and when you reach the midterm, you will be able to see the adoption growth, right? So as you guys said, you form a community, council, form a Copilot community, form a AI council, and send out surveys. So by doing all these things, after a 3 to 6 months of period, we will be able to see the adoption growth. You can see a noticeable productivity gains, right? So in short term, you will not see the noticeable productivity gains. You will see just the efficiency of the product, but only when you cross that, and when you cross 6 months of time, you will be able to see the productivity gains. And you have to be in the Copilot system at least for more than 6 months, which is a long term, to really understand the full scale of adoption, how it is really impacting the business, what is the return on investment that we are going to get with this. Because the license cost is not very less. It's some for it's per user license, and it's when you calculate it for the whole organization, the numbers are very big, right? So we have to be in the system to understand everything. And one more thing is trainings, right? As Ram clearly mentioned, trainings are very important. So when you identify the right persona, right use case, and when you assign the license, that's not enough. We have to give training as well to the people. So you give training, but at the same time, we have not just giving training only on the M365 app perspective. We also have to train people on understanding agents, how Copilot Studio can be used, so that people can think of their own use case. They can start creating agents, and they can extend it, right? Basically, we have to also try to do the extensibility of the product. So only then we will be able to see a lot of difference. And as you all said, we also started with a pilot of 100 users. We started with 100 licenses, and we targeted, as Ram rightly mentioned, we targeted our leadership, because we wanted our leadership to really understand the essence of the product, so that once they feel the product is effective and it is going to make some difference, then they themselves will advocate it, and that advocation will help us to extend the product to a larger audience. But one thing I just want to highlight here is, um, when organization thinks about Copilot, either they have to step forward or they have to step backward. They cannot be in the middle, right? They should not be thinking, should I step move forward or move backward, right? So that strategy will not work. If we really wanted to show some difference and wanted to adopt the new technology, go ahead. As I said, try to be in the system for try to have some logical long term plan, which will help you to get the full essence of the product, and you can get most out of it.
Yeah, I agree with that, Gokula thing and Priya. Fantastic points from both of you. And there's a growing concern among organizations, Gokul, right? As you clearly said about the fear of being left behind if they don't adopt to Copilot or get into an AI journey earlier, right? So that's definitely a good one. And also to touch base on what you both said, Viva Insights dashboard gives an option to compare the results of anyone within the organization, like with Copilot license and without Copilot license for a period of 6 months, as you said, like as a minimum investment that we have to do with an organization. And that's something which you can leverage it and then share it across to your leadership or the BU leads or the champions to showcase, okay, this is what your business unit have done for the last 6 months, and this is the ROI that I can see for a Copilot licensed assigned user and a non-licensed assigned user. And as Priya said, surveys are pretty good, right? Because it's coming directly from the user, and you can also, I mean, bring that survey into a Viva Insights dashboard and create some like good Power BI dashboards to showcase it to your executive sponsors, saying that this is the value that we are seeing, this is the investment that we have done, and this is what the Copilot has done for the organization. And Gokul, as you clearly said, you shouldn't look for immediate success, right? That's not going to happen, right? And we have to be pretty much clear on that. So it's not that I'm going to assign Copilot license to my entire organization and I can see a return of investment of 30% of time saved in terms of what they're doing. It's not going to happen that way. It's like a slow process. And as we said, in terms of educating users and putting a lot of trainings, gaining them advanced skills, right? That's key as well. Anything on that, Priya, like what we have seen in your organization or with your clients?
Yes, so that's a great point. Like, as you told, like, so everything we provide access, the training access. So not only the training on the M365 Copilot side, but as you told, they should know how the agents work, because most of the time I come up with a question, right? Okay, it's working, drafting email. So, but what are the other uses? So that's why this insights and also the productivity score. So all these brings up the how best the Copilot is helping your organization, right? Yeah, so I think pretty much I told everything, but the other important thing is the leadership support, right? To track the adoption and productivity impact, the leadership support is much more required. So that's why we need to give them the data. Okay, these are the, as Ram mentioned, these for 6 months, these are the benefits out of Copilot. So any leadership team, I believe they would be able to invest it when they see the difference, right? So yeah, that's a good point. Thank you so much, Ram. Yeah, any points you want to add, Gokul, on this?
Nothing. Just one thing I just wanted to add here. So we spoke about the platform readiness, right? So we talked about AI council, having a community channel and everything. At the same time, technically there are certain prerequisites that we have to do, which we did not cover it in the initially when we started it. So people whoever have to have Copilot accessible in their office applications, they have to be part of the monthly channel and our current channel, right? So most of the organization won't be part of monthly or current, so mostly they will be in the semi-annual channel. So because we were in semi-annual channel, and when we started thinking of bringing in Copilot, then we identified that this is one of the prerequisites. So we have to plan the platform readiness, where the pilot users should be moved to the monthly channel, and only then people were able to access Copilot in their office application. So just thought of adding that point as well here.
Thanks, Gokul. I think that also helps organizations to move away from vulnerabilities. As you said, staying on semi-annual for a very long time with the world moving around, like it's like you get a lot of vulnerabilities, and then the security team chases you in terms of clearing all those things. But I think moving into I mean, a monthly or a current also helps organizations that way. So that's another push that you can tell organizations to move towards Copilot. All right, guys. I think this has been a very insightful conversation. I should say, right? Like, thank you for your valuable contributions as always. And I think that brings up to the end of today's episode. I hope it should have a lot of clarity and information to rest of them as well. Thanks, Gokul and Priya, as always. Pleasure having you both.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Ram.
Ram.
Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much.
Gokul.
Thanks, Priya.
Thank you.